Well, what is going on? Welcome back to Clayton Schick Outdoors. Of course, I'm Clayton Schick. This is the dark outdoors, and I'm back up in northern Manitoba at one of my favorite places, Viking Lodge. And today, I'm gonna have some guests join me in some future videos up here, but myself, I'm going lake trout fishing. First, second cranberry can have some really good lake trout fishing for action with the chances of a big fish. And I've caught some beautiful fish here in the past, gorgeous dark ones, and like I said, aggressive. So we're gonna go lake trout fishing, possibly cook a chowder on the ice. No, we're gonna cook a chowder on the ice for sure. But let's get the sled fired up and let's get going, because it won't be long and the sun's gonna come up and it's gonna be a little bit till we get set up. Let's do it. Okay, I am officially set up inside. A quick 90 minutes later, it's already light outside. It's already like 9:30. But I'm finally fishing. Better late than never. I've got a hole drilled outside for a deadline. I'm going to rig it up here in a little bit. I thought I would just fish quick here in the area, see if there's anything around, and then get my deadline out, and hopefully we can make something happen. The whole goal of the day is honestly just to put some Lakers topside, have a nice fish chowder. I actually brought walleye with me. If I do catch an eater trout, I'm going to save it for tomorrow and make like a blackened fish sandwich. I have some stuff with me on this trip. So the whole goal today is to catch some Lakers. If we catch a big mama, great, but I just want to put the first Laker topside of 2024 more than anything. I'm fishing in like almost 70 feet, 68 feet, 69 feet. I've got the LVS 62 down there right now. The LVS 62 is the most, or I should say the live imaging from Garmin that you can see the furthest. They consider it like the saltwater version or whatever, but it's so good for lake trout fishing. I've been loving it. I'm sure the LVS 34 would still just work at this depth, but I want to possibly look around a little bit later, like 150 feet out, and scan the edges and see if there's fish moving anywhere. So right now I'm in the down mode. I'm looking out about 45 feet out each side, and I can see my tube jig all the way to the bottom, and I should probably turn my head camera on, and I have my gain turned all the way down or pretty low. So it's a pretty good unit, there's no doubt about it. Anyways, let's see if we can hopefully put some Lakers on this side of the ice. Oh boy, yeah, I saw that fish up there. Oh, no, come on, give me a chance. Maybe we'll chase it down a bit first. Oh, he bumped it again. Come on, I want to get it down a bit, I think, first. Come on. I saw a flicker there and I reeled up and this fish just flew out of nowhere. Come on. Come on. Oh, I don't like when they don't get it right away. But it's not over yet. Come on. Let's play the game. Let's play the chasing game. Come on. Come on, buddy. First fish we've seen today. Chase it down, maybe? Oh, my flag is up. Wow. I've got a big bait on there, too. Flag is up. Okay, I'm not far from the shack at all, so if it's a big one, oh, it snowed quite a bit already today. If it happens to be a big one, I can bring it to the shack. Doesn't look like it's moving at all. Well, something tripped it and pulled out a little bit of line, but then dropped it. So I'm just leaving it right there, setting it back up, and maybe that fish will come back. So maybe get him to eat it off the bottom. Another fish coming on the right. There is finally a bunch of fish around. It is 12:27. Yikes. It's been a slow start to my day. I'd like to catch a fish before I actually make my chowder. Oh, here comes another one on the right too. There's a bunch of fish around right now. They're just not really into eating maybe yet. I don't know. Look at that. It's not following. I got a spoon on right now. The second largest size dinner bell. It's a newer spoon that's just kind of released this year. And it's gonna work. It's just they seem to be grouchy. I wonder if I should go to a plastic. Maybe I'll try Dragon Slayer. Something like that. We'll see. I usually like a spoon will catch fish. If they don't want to eat a spoon, that kind of worries me a little bit. It kind of worries me. I'll just try dropping a jig in a minute down there if they're going to be this tough. Oh, flag just went. I just heard it pop. Maybe. This flag did pop earlier in the day once. I've had some fish around the shack, but not much. It's slippery. It's still running. So I'm just gonna set it right away. Oh, it's ran a lot. It's already it's run, if it's a 50 feet, it's already gone all the way to my second line there. Okay, can't really tell how it feels. It doesn't feel huge, but this is a really stiff rod too. Really stiff rod. It's a Slugger from Frostbite 46 extra heavy. Does not feel big at all. What do we got here? It definitely ran lots of line because I heard the flag pop. It's smaller, I think. Or it's coming in so easy. A lot of times they'll exert so much energy right off the start too. Okay, what do we got? There's our leader. I'll say they exert so much energy like right off the start when they run. If they take a bunch of line out. Like I said though, it does not feel big. There's a big Cisco on there, I'll tell you that much. What do we got? I'm thinking it should be a lake trout, not a burbot for as much line as it peeled out. Yeah, it's not big lake trout at all. Wow, that lake trout ate like a, I don't know, like a 10-inch Cisco probably. They're so hard, early ice like this to grab because they got so much power they can bring themselves back down so easy. I'll watch that top hook. I'll grab them. We'll go inside with them to show them off on the big camera since my shack is right here. Okay, you know what? We're not gonna. I thought about going inside the shelters right here. It's close, but it's like a nice 30-inch laker. We'll just let him go. If he's bigger, we'll peel him out. But I got to get another Cisco down there. I can't believe that fish went and ate that size of Cisco. Wow. Okay, we've got a new Cisco on. Isn't that crazy? Look at that bait. A 30-inch lake trout still eats a Cisco that big. We're gonna go drop it back down and get back to fishing. It blows my mind. I haven't caught anything in here yet with a small tube jig, a spoon, a bigger tube jig, anything, and then they eat a bait that's that big. Okay, flags reset. Like I said, I'm not far. I'm like 60, 70 feet, so I catch a bigger one. Really easy to take it to the shack with me and show it off on the main camera, but for that size, we weren't too worried about it. Well, we got one. First fish of 2024. Got her done. Like I said, it blows my mind that I'm fishing a small little tube right now. I fished a smaller spoon. I even fished a big tube jig. Fished some other baits. Couldn't get anything to eat in the shack yet at all with anything active. And then something eats a 10-inch Cisco. Like, why? It's funny how that works. When I had got out there, that fish had already peeled 50 yards of line, and I literally heard the flag pop. So that's pretty impressive. Those Lakers, they move quick. Jeez, my flag popped again. I can't believe this. Maybe Maybe it's a bigger one this time. Maybe it's a bigger one this time. Oh yeah, there it goes. There it goes. It's still there. It's still there. What do we got? Feels a little bit better than the last one. That's for sure. Definitely feels better than the last one, but it also didn't pull out as much line, so it's probably not as far out. It doesn't feel huge. It feels like it's got pretty tight head shakes, as in like not much movement, right? Like bigger head shakes will be whoomp, whoomp. It's got a little bit of weight though. A little bit. I'm gonna stand up. Okay, well there's my leader knot already. I have like 20 to 30 feet of fluorocarbon though. I do an FG knot and then tie a long leader, just so I don't have to mess around with tying another leader at any time. I can't believe that these fish are crushing these big baits, yet not eating anything small in the shack. Not a bad fish. Not a bad fish at all. Not a bad fish. Come on. Back up, buddy. Back up. It's stuck here. Come on. It's not huge. Got the back hook in the side of his face here. No, it's not huge. Another like probably 32, 33 incher. Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. I'm not sure where the other hook is yet. Oh, it's got both hooks on the side. Okay, I'm gonna grab them. Oh yeah, burp it up, burp it up. I'm gonna grab them, take the hooks out, and then take them inside for this guy. I don't want him to spin and take one of those hooks. Okay, not a huge one at all. Probably a nice 31, maybe 32 incher. But we're catching some Lakers anyway. I think it's time to cook up some lunch too. It's already 1:30. Slower start to the day. And like I said, we're catching a couple. But on the big baits, it's kind of mind-blowing that I've caught 2 fish on the big baits and nothing on anything small yet. Okay, we're about to cook up a fish chowder. I've probably done this on the channel before, but I don't know if I've ever done it with the way I prefer to do it, in terms of sauteing up the potatoes and the onions first and then adding them into a boiling water with all of my cream, dillweed, etc. We'll get there, all the ingredients, but first steps first, I'm going to take my musky bumper, doubles as a cutting board here. I think I got it relatively clean. I do clean fish on here all the time too, but we're gonna be okay. We're roughing it. We're not soft, but I'm going to cut up my potato and onion right here, saute those up in the frying pan right there with a seasoning and some butter, and then we will go to process 2. This is pretty tight quarters to make all this happen if I catch a fish at the same time, but ask me if I'm scared. I'm not scared. So I've got a baker's potato here. I'm only going to use a half of it. With one person I'd use, or sorry, with 2 people I'd use the whole thing. One person, a half will be lots. And I've got fish down there too. Oh boy, oh boy, what's going on? What's going on? Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun process. This is probably when the fish will start biting, right as soon as I start to cook. It's always the way it goes. I think I'm gonna lay this tube right on the bottom with that minnow I have on there. I have a minnow on there. I'm just gonna lay it right on the bottom. Let's see what happens. Anyway, half potato, we're gonna cube it up. Smaller cubes. Don't need to use too big of cubes. Smaller cubes will just cook faster. Don't use your fillet knife to cut potatoes like I am right now. You will dull your knife out so quick. Get an actual, like a potato knife. This is silly. Okay, my potato is chopped up here, cubed up I should say. I'm gonna fire up the pan. I've got some butter in there already. And then once the butter starts to melt, put the potatoes in there and I'll chop up my half an onion I'm gonna use. You could just boil the potatoes as well. I feel though when you saute the potatoes first, for the first part of the chowder, they just add a little bit more flavor. I feel like, I don't know, it just got more taste to it. And I'm gonna hit them with this seasoning from Catch and Cook called Whiteout. This stuff is really good for potatoes like this, really good. Garlic seasoning. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that seasoning smells so good. So good. Okay, potatoes are cooking. I'm going to add in my half an onion here as well. And when all this is finished, or like almost to the point where it's finished, I have some pre-cooked bacon that I'm going to toss in there. I cooked up some bacon on the stove. You could fry it in here too, but I wanted less smoke in here, so I cooked it before I came out. Must have got some onion in my eye. I'm not crying, you're crying. The potatoes are starting to get to that point where they're probably 70-80% cooked. They are going to cook a little bit more in the boiling water. We'll toss in our bacon here, heat it up, and then what we'll do is we'll take this off and then get our pot and put some water in it and get that water boiling. Not much water, just a little bit. Okay, this is coming off. We'll tuck that there for a second or two. Get our water here boiling. Okay, not doing too much because I'm looking to add mostly cream to this here. It's more of a, I might even dump some water out here eventually, potentially. We'll get that boiling and we'll dump in our potatoes and onion and bacon and we'll keep going from there. Okay, water is just starting to boil. We'll take our potatoes, onions and bacon, get that in there. So we'll get stuck to the pan here because I cooled it off so quick. Okay, we'll get that boiling. We're done with this pan, so we'll put it outside. We'll just get that boiling. Water's boiling. We're using whipping cream here, 35%. We'll probably use about half of this. I'm gonna add a little bit more butter in there. And we're gonna bring this to a boil. And then we're gonna put our fish in. Before we put our fish in, we're gonna put a bunch of dillweed in. Dillweed is so good in the chowders. I like to load it up real good here. This lid's overrated. Lots of dillweed. Obviously you can put in different types of seasoning to your choice, to what you like for a seasoning. Like maybe you like Cajun, so you can do a Cajun chowder. I love dillweed. Dillweed is so good in a chowder. If you've never tried it and you like dillweed, you gotta try it. Our mixture is boiling. I've got some pre-caught and pre-cut walleyes. I'm just taking the whole fillets and putting them in. I'm gonna go with 2 whole fish here. So that's 1 fish, 1.5, 2. You know what? Yeah, that's lots. Who am I kidding? I wonder who else is coming for lunch. Oh, I say that lots. Actually, no. I have my Yeti. The leftovers are going home with me. This will be supper too. I love this chowder so much. Okay, so now that fish we put in there whole, as it cooks, it'll flake apart. And then you know that it's ready when that fish is all flaked apart. You can chunk it and put it in there too. But like I said, if you take it and put it in there whole, you can just break it apart. It'll flake and it's ready. There's actually one more ingredient yet though too, which is actually more important than normal because I didn't bring any bowls or spoons. So we're gonna have to get creative on how we are eating our chowder today, but I've got an idea. You can do this chowder with pike, you can do this chowder with lake trout. I just had some walleyes from a recent outing and I left kind of in a hurry on this trip, so I took the walleyes with me. Wasn't gonna let them go to waste. Okay, so the walleye, everything's cooked in there. I'm going to turn the burner off to let it cool. But I'm putting my last ingredient, which is also going to be my bowl for where I'm putting my chowder. This is pineapple chunks. If you don't like pineapple, you don't have to put it in there. But it adds a nice little flavor to it. And I use the chunks a lot of times because if you're cooking for more people and there's somebody that doesn't like pineapple, they're a lot easier to take out. Anyways, we'll stir it up here, let it cool, and then we will we will eat. Okay, it should have cooled down enough by now. Step one, my bowl. Put it in my bowl. I brought a ladle, and yet I didn't bring a spoon or a bowl. That's okay, because we can eat and drink right out of here. I got a fish crawling on the bottom of the water here. Anyway, my bowl, which is a little bit hot yet, so I'm going to put that down to cool it. But this is my eating utensil, a Magnum dinner belt right there. It's got a little bit of a hole in there, but that's okay. I'll just use, oh, that is getting hot. I'll just use this area. I can slurp it and drink it, and then I can eat with the Magnum dinner bell right there. I obviously took the treble hook off because we don't need Clayton getting hooked. I think what I'll do is put this over here on the ice. It can cool there, and I'll put my cooker outside so I have more room if I catch a fish now. All that flavor with that garlic, the whiteout from Catch and Cook, the potatoes, and then the dillweed. Man, this should be in a restaurant. Oh. Well, at least if I can't catch fish, I can cook on the videos. So, cheers. I'm not going to click my camera because I'll wreck the screen. Sadly, I only have one Yeti thermos. I could definitely use some more, but we'll definitely take some of this home. I'll drill a hole here and clean up my mess here when I'm done. This is going to be supper tonight. This was really good. Very enjoyable. Very, very, very enjoyable. I will get most of it in here, actually. Okay, we are back inside, set up, fishing, and yeah, it's almost 3 o'clock. Still got some time to hopefully catch a fish in the shack. The importance of that second line has been a big thing today, because I'd have no fish right now at all if I was just fishing in the shelter with one line and that was it. So I know sometimes I've ran 2 lines in the shelter, but now since I started using the Finicky Foolers more with different species, I've been like, you know what, let's start putting a line further out. Is it going to change if it's minus 30? Probably. I don't know if I don't really want to put those fish through that if it's minus 30, but it's not that cold yet. And I'm closer to the shelter here. I can bring them into the shelter. It's not that bad. Most of the fish obviously get caught and straight back in, but I don't want to take any time out there and measure any fish out there or show them off for any length of time, just because I'd rather get them back in so their eyes don't freeze and their gills don't freeze. It's the biggest thing for sure. We'll just keep toughing it out here and see if we can make something happen. I've been really comfortable. This is the first day using the Escape 2800. These seats, they don't look comfy, but I'll tell you what, you could go like this, sit here, and I got this little like almost an armrest because of these Arc Lab Wingman shelters. And I could nap right here. It's going to be Bad News Bears for sure. Probably the most comfortable stock seat I've ever sat in a flip over. Now, like I said, they don't look comfortable, but because the sister company is a tree stand company, they have guys that have sit long hours in tree stands and have kind of passed that technology over to Eskimo. And yeah, it's comfy. It's good. No complaints with the shelter at all. I like that the front has got more of like a square, so I've got lots of room for a hook set. I have to sneeze. Okay, I'm gonna fight that one. I got lots of room for a hook set though up in here. Not like it's not like a lot of the flip over shelters have like that angle like this. The Clam's the worst for the angle. Otter's a little bit better, and then Eskimo has like almost like up and almost a 90 degree. It's nice. The only difference is you have to have the wind bars in here to make everything, or the front 2 wind bars to make it like be perfect. If you don't put the front wind bars in, that front bar will come down. So as Otter, you have a piece that you have to move from here to here to make a side door. I thought maybe that process was going to be eliminated with this, but no, it's not eliminated because you still have to put your wind bars in. but you have piles of room. Like, this is the most room I've had in a flip over for lake trout. There's no doubt about it. Very happy with it. I'll be using this flip over more, actually. We'll just keep checking our flag, reeling up once in a while. Water column check, even though I can see so much side to side. Never know if there's a fish behind me, you know, 30 feet, because I'm looking this way, left to right. I'm not looking this way at all. It's got a narrower cone angle that way. So we'll still reel it up. Water column check. Drop back down. Flags up. Flags up. I can't believe how much that flag's getting eaten. And I right now even got a Cisco on a tube jig sitting on the bottom. Nothing in the shack at all. It's moving. Oh boy. Oh boy. Just gonna pull a little bit out. And I don't want him to swallow it, so I'm just going to reel him into it. Okay. I can't tell size. Doesn't feel bad, though. If something ever freezes up on you a little bit, you can just, like, take a step back. And you can tighten your line like that until you can get everything going. But the reel was tight on me for a second. This one has a little bit of weight, actually. This one has a little bit of weight. Don't think it's not crazy heavy, but it's bigger than the last fish, I would say, or the last two. Oh yeah, this one's got a little bit of pull to him. Depends how he's hooked too, right? Like those smaller ones, if they get that hook kind of sideways, as you saw that last one, it's not hooked in its mouth. You don't have as good of control on them. So if it's a fish that's hooked in the mouth, it'll be a little bit better fish. Still not huge though, it doesn't have crazy weight to it. There's my leader. Should see the fish right away. I'll do the same thing. I'll probably just take him in the shack, show him off, and get him back. Yeah, this fish isn't pulling any drag. I got obviously a pretty heavy setup, but a bigger one would be putting up more of a tussle for sure. There he is. I can't believe these fish are eating a whole Cisco like that. Like, they are not scared. Not that these are small, they're just not big Lakers. That double treble is swinging funny, so be really careful there. We'll pick them up, take them in the shelter. I'll be able to unhook them right here. The glasses are fogging on me there a little bit. Biggest of the day. This is the ones we want to catch in the shelter. These aren't the ones we're looking to catch out there. It's not super thick, but he is got some length to him. Probably about a 32, maybe 33 incher. And we will get him back. Ooh, lots of energy. Lots of energy. Okay. We'll get another Cisco out there and get it set up. Thankfully, we're using our second line today, and our Finicky Fooler is making it happen for us a little bit. Back inside, deadline set up again. The average size of the Lakers in the Cranberry Lakes has always blown my mind. Like, all the fish I caught today are literally the average size. It's hard to catch one that's legal to eat. I believe 26 inches or under is the size that you can keep, and it's so hard to catch one that size to eat. Most of them seem to almost always be on that like 29 to 32 inches. I have caught some nice ones here, like some 36 to 38s. I don't think I've caught anything bigger than 38 on the cranberries, but I just haven't put as much time into these lakes probably in the last couple years, as I've adapted my lake trout skills a little bit too. So it's nice to fish here for a day. It kind of brings back some memories of like when I first started filming. I used to come up to the cranberries and smash a bunch of action-packed lake trout. It was good. And today, obviously, the average size is still what it's always been, but the lakers themselves aren't that active. And I've seen here, I've done some days here back in the day where I used to fish like 4 or 5 days in a row, and first day I catch 1 fish, second day 2 fish, and then 5 fish. And then all of a sudden, like, I had some days where I pop off and I get a dozen fish a day. So that's lake trout, right? That comes and goes. Sadly, on this trip, I won't be fishing for, or that won't probably, I won't say won't for sure, but I might do some the last day. But my goal when I'm up here is to like fish a different lake every day. There's so many different options up here. The Cranberries, Simon House. They have some lakes that you can portage to. Bruni Lake's one of them. I forget the name of the other one. It's a real big, long name. And like I said, Simon House. And then not too far from here, there's Niso, there's Payuk, I forget how to pronounce that one. Athapap is right across the road. There's so many different options up here. So the best thing about this whole adventure here is like, you don't ever have to fish the same body of water twice, or species. I can fish lake trout, I can fish walleye, I can fish pike, I can go after ciscos, whitefish. I don't think perch, I'm not too sure. There's some stock trout lakes around. Webster, Barbie isn't too far away. We'll probably do some rainbow trout fishing here at some point on those. There's been some big lake rainbows coming to those bodies of water this year. There's just so many different opportunities up here. And when I first came here, it was like I just fished second and first cranberry for lakers. I didn't explore around that much. I always wanted to, but now I have a good sled to be able to actually portage around and go find some different bites and look for some different bites. So I'm excited for the next couple days. It should be good. Day one is off to a good start. Not a crazy action, but I've caught a couple nice fish. I had an unbelievable lunch. Yeah, life is good. Oh, look at that. Got one in the shack finally on the tube jig. The question is, am I gonna keep them buttoned? This is a lighter rod than the one I'm using outside. This is a Mr. Big 43-inch heavy. This one is a graphite rod, whereas the one outside is a fiberglass rod. This one just got a little bit better feel for the little bit smaller baits, because I've only got on a little tiny tube jig here with a 5/8 ounce hook, or lead, I should say. Basically, it's got a bigger hook, but the weight of it's 5/8 ounce. I was just working the bottom real slow, and finally got one of those fish on the bottom to eat. The tube jig. The question is, will I land him or will I knock him off on the bottom of the ice? Oh, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Okay. Easy. Got him. That is a pale fish. Okay, well, 4th laker on the board. A nice one. I've caught dark ones out of here. I've caught pale ones like this. There seems to be like 2 different strains, is that the proper word, of lakers here. And the dark just soaks the shack. The dark ones usually are a little bit more aggressive than these light colored ones. The light colored ones, I find they get a little bit bigger here though, but they tend to be more near the bottom. A lot of those suspended fish that I catch where they're flying in and out, those are usually the darker ones. So far, pretty much all light colored ones, I think. I might have got some colored one, the first one, I'm not sure, but we got one in the shack. 4 lakers today. We definitely turned this day around. The afternoon has been good to us. These are the tubes that I'm running right now down there. These are from Send It Outdoors. These are a 4-inch called Bite Size, and it's got on a 5/8 ounce lead you can get from his site as well. But it's just a little bit smaller. I don't know, I just wasn't getting anything on any of the spoons in here. Wasn't getting anything on the bigger tubes. I tried some different style of plastics, nothing. And this was the first one that I caught, so who knows if it's going to lead into anything, downsizing even smaller. Obviously, they're eating bigger meals outside of the shack. It's just probably more technique and style where they want it tight to bottom and not even moving really. Probably could put on a 6-inch tube down there and just lay it there and feel them pick it up. But at least with this, it's not as heavy. They don't feel the weight of the lure as much when they pick it up. So anyway, Bite Size you can use. I think it's either called Clayton or Clayton 15 on senditoutdoors.com, and you can get yourself some tube jigs. I also use lots called the Middleman, and then I use the Big Mama as well. It's called lots. Lots of the middleman is probably what I use the most, I would say. The only thing is when I run the middleman jig with a 2 ounce, I usually run it on the slugger rod. This in the shack right now, like I said, when I was fighting that fish, is the Mr. Big. So these are, both of these rods I'm using are from Frostbite. It's a 43-inch heavy, and the one out there is a 46-inch extra heavy. I like to run, as soon as I start to get 2 ounces or more, I'm definitely running that extra heavy rod, I would say. I've used the Mr. Big though for a long time. Got some giant Lakers on it. It'll work for a 2 ounce jig. I just wouldn't want to go any bigger. And the only thing with a 2 ounce jig is by the end of the day, your arm gets a little bit sore after pumping that jig up and down all day. But the Frostbite rods have caught some giant Lakers on in the last couple of years. Like I said, the Slugger, the Mr. Big, and the only one that I don't have with me today is the Drama Queen, which is a 45-inch medium heavy, I believe. If I messed any of that up, I'll put it here somewhere on the screen, but I'm pretty sure it's a 45-inch medium heavy. It's a really, really good rod for, again, for dead sticks outside or rattle baits. It's a fiberglass rod, and it just bends so far into the blank, so it absorbs all the head shakes so nice. All three of those rods have been so good for Lakers. If you had a Mr. Big, a Drama Queen, and a Slugger, you'd have like the ultimate Lake Trout setup, and it's all you would ever need for Lakers. I think I'm gonna go pull my tip up out right away. It's getting dark out there, and then probably pack everything up in here too. Got one fish here that's messing with me maybe a little bit. Is it going to chase up? It's coming up. It's coming up. Looks decent. There we go. We got him. Wow. Finally got one to chase up off the bottom and eat. Well, you never know what could happen, right? Next couple days the bite could turn on. And it could be absolutely insane here, and I could catch 12 a day, but I won't be Laker fishing again, I don't think, after today. Yeah. That's a walleye. That is a walleye, and that's not good to catch a walleye out of 70 feet. I'm not fishing for walleye at all. We're going to see if it's suffering from any barotrauma. Doesn't look like it. Its eyes are okay. Its stomach seems to be okay. I'm gonna see if it'll swim back down, and if it doesn't here, I can't even keep it because of the size restriction. You have to be 22 inches or less. Okay, is it gonna go? It's right there. It's going. Keep going, baby. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Man, it got back down to 50 feet. I lost it. So I think we're okay. Okay, we're okay. There's a fish down there too. Another one down there. Probably a lake trout. That's first time I think I've caught a walleye out of that deep. It didn't look like it was suffering from any barotrauma. Like, you can tell its stomach was a little bit tighter. And I'd say 50-50 whether that fish is ever going to survive. But it kicked and it went. And if it got back down to that depth, it'll be okay. That's crazy. I thought about just keeping it. That's like a 22-23 inch walleye. But there's a size restriction on this lake for walleye where you can't keep anything. So I couldn't legally keep it, so I had to try to release it. But normally if I caught a fish that big, I'd try to release it if it's bigger, but when it's that deep, I might have kept it. Yeah. Accidental catch. But we'll yeah, can't say I'm even too pumped about it. Try to release it if you can, and if it doesn't release, like, eat it, right? I do want to note, it's definitely not right to target walleye in that deep water, but clearly I'm not targeting walleye. And if I was catching a bunch of walleye like that, I would just go somewhere else, or I would stop fishing the bottom of the water column, anything like that, right? Like, don't fish for walleye in deep water like that. barotrauma is real. Will some fish survive? For sure. But like I said, 50% of that time, that fish is probably not going to even kick out of my hands. I got lucky, I would say. It definitely, it shot all the way back down. Like I lost it finally at like 50, 55 feet. It was streaking that way. If I would have had it in forward mode instead of down mode, jeez, it's got nailed right off the bottom. Probably a bourbon now. Or a Laker. But anyway, if I would have had it in forward mode, I probably could have chased or tracked it a little bit better. But yeah, if I was catching a bunch of walleyes like that, even if I catch another walleye right now, I'll just stop fishing. Like, okay, that's it for the day. So if this is a walleye, just bit and let go. If this is a walleye now, if I catch this fish and it's a walleye, I'll just be done. I'll be done fishing. I'm pretty sure this one's going to be a Laker though. Well, it's dark o'clock. It's windy. And yeah, like I said, it's dark. And it's windy. I think I'm going to wrap it up here and get all organized in the shelter. The one nice thing about having my flip over instead of the hub shelter is I can organize everything in the sleigh, put the things I need to in the back of my sled, and take her down. I can stay in the heat right until the last minute, but it's officially winter. Like it feels like minus a lot out there right now. I think the weather station says minus 20 right now, but with the wind, it's ripping. So we'd better get home while it's dark, or get back to the cabin, I should say, at Viking Lodge. I don't think I'll fish for Lakers again. We'll see. Maybe the end of the trip. But I want to explore some different areas. I want to hang out with Matt or Paul for a day as well, or two. And yeah, go chase some rainbows, go chase some pike, some walleye, maybe Cisco's. You never know. I'm gonna go on just a venture and not try to fish the same body of water on the same body of water twice, basically. I'm gonna try to jump around as much as possible and just experience the north, because it's such a gorgeous area. Not a lot of snow right now, but I think there's some coming in the forecast, which will make for better riding and whatnot. But thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, get outside.